What's up, Superhumans? BT here. In the last video, I explained why I got this, the Apple Vision Pro, again. I gave you 4 reasons why I have it again. Just to clarify, I don't have 2 of these. I bought it, used it, returned it, and then missed it so much I bought it again. Oh, so good. The main reason for buying the Apple Vision Pro again was flying. You might think that is a really excessive amount to pay for something like flying. Like, if that is the major reason you bought it, that can seem kind of ridiculous, and I get where your head's at, but hear me out. I don't like flying. That's why I bought it, because the Apple Vision Pro is unparalleled at taking you out of the reality you're in and putting you in a new one. And I don't like flying. I have severe flight anxiety. Check this out. These are all 3 of the medications I take for flying because I have severe flight anxiety. This one is for sleep. This one says take 60 minutes before flying. This is a beta blocker to kind of help me just chill out. And then this one is for panic attacks. And you might be thinking, well, if you're flying every once in a while, again, buying an Apple Vision Pro, that seems really excessive for something you're not doing that often. But I'm flying a lot. Just in this 30-day period here, over the next 30 days, I will have spent 48 plus 24 is 72. 72 hours in a plane. Almost 2 full work weeks in a plane. So I'm doing it a lot, and that we're only up to April, right? Well, we're going to be in May, like half of May. We'll have another 6.5 months to go before the year's over, and I'm gonna be doing more and more flying. So if I'm doing something I don't like doing, and I'm doing a lot of it, it just made sense for me to get it. Now, the big question is it actually worth it? Did it work on a plane like I hoped it would be? Well, let's discuss. Now, before we jump into this video, I want to clarify something. This is not a video I was planning on making. It was more or less of an afterthought because it was my experience using it. Maybe if I had enough foresight, I would have thought, oh, that would be a great video, but I didn't. But I learned something really important about the Apple Vision Pro. It has a fatal flaw, and we will talk about this later, and more importantly, the fix for it. But anyway, because this wasn't a video I was planning on making, I didn't film it like I normally would any of the other videos you might have seen. There's not a lot of B-roll, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of examples, like while it happened examples that I would normally include in a video. But I hope that notwithstanding, you'll still watch the video, because I think if you're planning on buying an Apple Vision Pro, or if you're planning on getting an Apple Vision Pro just for flying like I did, this is going to be really useful for you. The biggest reason I returned the Apple Vision Pro is because it had abysmal low light performance. I mean, if I wasn't in this environment with lights all around me and I turned off a few lights, it would just say tracking failed. And when it's talking about that, where did I put it? Okay, you see these on the bottom right here? These are cameras, and those cameras, when you have it, are looking at your hands, and that is what's tracking the tap, right? This is how you select things. So if it can't see your hands, it doesn't know what you're selecting. And so it'll tell you tracking failed, and basically it's kind of useless at that point. But I had also talked to some friends that had it, and they were like, yours is weirdly bad in low light. So there was a chance that maybe mine was just a bug, a glitch, a bad unit. And I'm so happy to say that that's probably the case, because this one can work in near pitch black conditions. I had 0 issues on the plane. Fully dimmed out. Both of our flights were through the middle of the night. When you take our flight there was broken up into one 10-hour flight and then one 11.5-hour, almost 12-hour flight. On the leg back, that's a 17-hour flight. Fun fact, it's, I think, the 6th longest commercially available flight you can get Johannesburg to Atlanta, 17 hours. And we left at 10 p.m. So both times I used it when the plane is at its darkest so people can sleep, and it worked perfectly. Travel mode. I don't know if you've heard of travel mode, but basically how the AVP works, right? You stick it on, and you can create panels. And the coolest thing about these panels, well, one of the coolest things, is that they stay where you're at. So let's say I pull up some panels here in my office and I decide to keep it on while I go upstairs and grab a snack. When I come back down, those panels will be in the exact same space. They don't follow me around. Now, if I were to get in a car or a train or whatever and not turn on travel mode, those panels just like zip past you. To demonstrate how this works, we're gonna take the Apple Vision Pro for a drive. Don't worry. I know you think it's unsafe, but got my seatbelt here. Safety third, as my wife would say. But I'm gonna show you how these panels interact when you're moving at a pace that's faster than walking. All right, so let's dive in and see if we can make this work. All right, so here's my menu. Let's pull up like a text box and make this easy. All right, pull it into the car like that. Let's go to our photos and we'll look at a penguin. Well, that's kind of scary because now I can't see traffic. Definitely safety third. All right, let's go. Got to put it into drive. Thank God I'm recording. See, moving, did you see it? Moving target. There it went. Moving too fast, tracking failed. And so one of the things you have to do before before taking off is you got to turn on travel mode. And I'm bringing this up because everybody's like, no duh. And I knew this, but I don't know if it was the stress of flying. It's probably the stress of flying and me trying to go, oh my gosh, I got to put this thing on. And I always just feel rushed and anxious on a plane. I turned on airplane mode. I was on an airplane, I select airplane mode. That's not what you want to select. And so when I put it on, it's just glitching. And I'm like, gosh, dang it, nothing will work. And like things would pop up and tracking would fail. And then I remembered my buddy Joey saying, make sure you turn on travel mode. Thankfully, going to the menu, travel mode, boom, everything locks into place and it works perfectly. If you're gonna be using your Apple Vision Pro for entertainment, listen up because there are a lot of important details. Number one, if you're planning on using your AVP to stream or rent a movie from something like Prime, Max, or Disney, you have to have Wi-Fi. Not only that, you need to make sure that the Wi-Fi, even if it's offered, works, that there's coverage, okay? We're gonna talk about this here in a second. I'm a Delta SkyMiles member. Super stoked because Delta SkyMiles members get free Wi-Fi. Coming home from Africa, geez, like all but the last hour, there was no Wi-Fi because we're flying over the ocean. So when I would open up Max, Prime, Disney, I could open up the app, but I couldn't rent anything and I couldn't stream anything. The only thing I could do is watch downloaded movies, which is something that I would advise you to do. If you have the opportunity to download the content rather than letting it sit in rental form or try to stream, I would highly recommend doing that because it was kind of the only way I was able to watch the shows and the I downloaded the entire season 1 of Fallout. I downloaded Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, The Land of Bad, and a few other movies. And had I not actually downloaded them, I wouldn't have been able to watch them, and that would have been a really boring 17 hours. If you do decide to rent a movie and you want to watch it, this really only applies to international flights, not domestic ones. There's a weird glitch that happens, not with the AVP, but with the rental service. You see, I think it was Ford versus Ferrari. I rented it. I started watching it once we started flying, and then dinner got served at a really weird time. So I put the AVP away and I ate dinner. And that kind of comes in a couple of stages. And then I decided to sleep. So I passed out. I was lucky enough that I was able to pass out. I got asleep. Then we get to Amsterdam, and I decide to watch Ford versus Ferrari on the next leg of the trip. And when I opened it up, it said my rental period had ended. Basically, the time that we flew, plus the 8-hour change of time zone, made Prime Video think that I had elapsed 24 hours. So this is obviously not a quirk with the AVP, but with the rental service, somehow they got to figure that out, because that shit is stupid. But anyway, just know that if you fly internationally and your flight is long enough, you might screw up a rental period if you don't watch it all right then. I turn on the Apple Vision Pro, I put it on, and I go into Disney, and it just doesn't work. Like, the app won't even like turn on. And this is on the leg there, just FYI. I think we had already landed in Amsterdam. Now we're going from Amsterdam to South Africa. And put on the Apple Vision Pro, and Disney's not working. I'm like, ah, crap. Okay, well then I had downloaded like 7 movies, a bunch of Star Wars, a bunch of Disney, Marvel movies. None of them would work. The app wouldn't even work. All right, going to Prime. Prime wouldn't open. Went into Max. Max wouldn't open. And this is where I really wish I had actual footage for you, so I could give you the details of like what it would do, what it would tell me. This is devastating, because now I've got a 17-hour flight and a 4-hour flight on the way back, and none of what I've downloaded is going to work. Fortunately, the solution came to me like the day before we were gonna fly out. Thank God it had. I wish I would have had this epiphany a little earlier, but I went VPN. A VPN, a virtual private network, masks your IP. So you can do 2 things. One, you can basically trick your device into thinking you're somewhere you're not, but it's also just a good practice to use a VPN when you get on the internet, because it's encrypting all of that data. It just makes you getting on the internet safer, all right? So it protects some of your information better. All right, so here we have our menu. I'm going to come into the App Store, and I'm going to look for VPN. I downloaded Proton. VPN, there it is right there. So let's open this up. And this is kind of how it starts. You get all of these countries. Now, I paid for the Plus, the Proton VPN Plus, because it gave me more countries. I wanted to make sure that no matter where I went this year, it always worked, so I opted for the paid version. But you can see this little power button. All you do is you turn on the power button, and it connects you. It automatically connects you. So you connected to United States. So now it's saying that I'm in Los Angeles. That's essentially where I'm being. But if I close this, and then I come into my settings, to turn it on, you just go to VPN and turn it on. Like that. And then, in any of these streaming services that you go to, like Max, it's just gonna fire up like normal, and it's gonna work like normal. And that is awesome. You will probably find a lot of those services work with your phone. They just have different content specific to that region, but they don't work at all for the AVP. So if you are buying this Apple Vision Pro for entertainment, and you're going to be flying a lot, maybe some of that is international, you got to have a VPN. That thing is absolutely incredible at getting you to forget that you're flying. So if you've got severe flight anxiety, shit, I think it worked better than the medication that I have. That's how good I really enjoyed the Apple Vision Pro. If you enjoyed this, if you thought it was entertaining or insightful in any way, please hit the like button. Goes a long way on the YouTube algorithm, to the gods of the algorithm. And subscribe, because it's free. There's no commitment required. You can cancel at any time. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.